I'd like to bring in Alun Evans now, a former advisor to Tony Blair. Thank you very much for joining us here on France 24. Boris Johnson has made it abundantly clear in the past 48 hours that he wasn't going anywhere. What happened?
This has been a remarkable 24 hours or so. As you say, the Prime Minister originally said he wasn't going to go, but it's now clear that he's lost the confidence of the party, of the cabinet and the whole parliamentary party. And with only over 50 resignations, this was absolutely unprecedented. And he faced the inevitable and has now said he will resign.
So the writing was on the wall over the past few weeks for Boris Johnson ever since he won that vote of no confidence just a couple of weeks ago. But the damage was done, wasn't it?
Well, the damage was done. Well, I would say the damage was done well before 2 weeks ago, because he has shown over his time as Prime Minister, and particularly in the last few months, a total disregard for the rules and ethics of good behaviour of the Prime Minister. He hasn't followed the rules. He's been accused of lying to Parliament. He's forced ministers to go and give lines to the media, which he knows to be untrue. And, you know, when he first came to be Prime Minister in 2019, when he entered Downing Street, he said on the steps of Number 10, "We are going to restore trust in our democracy." Well, he failed to do that. But today, the process begins of restoring trust in democracy again.
Let's talk about potential replacements for Boris Johnson, because I've been talking with my colleague Rob here on set that there are a lot of people who want the country's top job. In the past 48 hours, we have seen the former Health Secretary Sajid Javid, who resigned. We had the former Finance Minister Rishi Sunak, who resigned. These were people who stuck with Boris Johnson throughout the worst of the Partygate scandal. The fact that they resigned before Boris Johnson was pushed out the door, could that improve their chances to lead the party?
I think it could improve their chances, but look, it's a mug's game to predict who's going to win a contest, which, as your former correspondent before me said, could have 10 or 12 people competing. But I think what Conservative MPs may well be looking for is someone who can bring greater stability, greater honesty, and greater professionalism to the job of Prime Minister, and actually start to put government and politics back onto a more decent, honest track here. So it might be that you'll look for somebody less well known within the government, perhaps even someone like Ben Wallace, the Defence Secretary, who's doing rather well with the war in Ukraine and seem to be doing quite well, or even somebody from outside the cabinet. Jeremy Hunt would definitely be a possibility.
ITV News is reporting that the Prime Minister has spoken to the Queen about his resignation plan. What does that tell you, the fact that he's not going right now to see the Queen? Is he going to resign and step down as Prime Minister, or is he going to buy time between now and when the Conservative Party chooses its next leader?
Well, it's a good question. He will presumably make a statement this morning or early this afternoon saying that he's stepping down, that he'll have spoken to the Queen to say that. The exact process from there on is not clear, because if you look at the actual rules of the Conservative Parliamentary Party and the Conservative Party in the country, it could take up to 3 months to appoint a new leader. Is Johnson really going to stay on over that time as a caretaker Prime Minister? Possibly, but equally we might be into different constitutional territory whereby someone like the Deputy Prime Minister, Dominic Raab, takes over for the 3 months until the Conservative Party elects a new leader. It's all very uncertain at the moment. But it's clear that he is going to resign, announce his intention to resign this morning.
Boris Johnson has that Donald Trump allure that he sort of survived many things. Is he politically dead after this?
Yes.
He's finished?
Totally.
He can never claw his way back to the top of the party?
Never. It would be absolutely impossible.
Okay, yeah, it seemed pretty confident on that front. I'm
not confident of everything this morning, but I'm confident of that.
To be fair, I spoke to my colleague, my chief foreign editor, Rob Parsons, and he was pretty convinced that Boris Johnson would not resign voluntarily. So something must have transpired, Rob.
Oh, clearly. I mean, it may well be that Ben Wallace was the the straw that broke the camel's back when he said today that he had told the Prime Minister that he should go, that he was staying on himself in the interests of national security, but that his advice was that Boris Johnson should step down. The fact that somebody who's stuck with Boris Johnson through thick and thin should be saying that on this Thursday with everything that's been going on the last 24 hours, I think must have been a crushing blow for Boris Johnson and may well have pushed him over the edge.
Alun Evans, we have in the past few moments, we had the former UK Minister George Freeman who's saying a caretaker Prime Minister should be appointed. Is that something you think Boris Johnson wants, or does the current Prime Minister, would he like to buy some time?
Well, he might want to buy some time, but he might not be allowed to. The extent of the loss of confidence in Johnson, both amongst his cabinet and the parliamentary party, is absolutely telling. 50 people resigned within 24 hours. That is extraordinary. So even if Johnson wanted to stay on, he may not be allowed to do so. And we're in new constitutional territory here, but it could be that there is a caretaker Prime Minister appointed for the period of the election process for a new one. I really don't know. I would be surprised if Johnson says he will stay on quietly for 3 months, just doing the necessary work to keep the show on the road.
Alun Evans, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for joining us on the programme.